Marilyn Monroe, whose real name was Norma Jean Mortensen, began her life with humble hopes and big dreams. Her path to fame was not easy, and the house we will talk about played a special role in her development. The Sherman Oaks home was not a luxury mansion that she would be proud of, but it was a sanctuary where she could feel like herself, away from the bright lights of Hollywood. Today we will plunge into the past and try to understand why this house, seemingly simple and unremarkable, became so important for Marilyn Monroe and why its demolition left a deep mark in the hearts of her fans. Born on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, Norma Jean Mortensen did not know her mother and grew up in foster homes and orphanages. Her childhood was full of difficulties and hardships. The lack of a permanent home and the warmth of her family left a deep mark on her personality, forcing her to seek love and approval throughout her life. As Norma Jean grew up, she found solace in dreams of a future in which her life would be filled with fame and success. These dreams, which seemed so distant, gradually began to come true when she was noticed at one of the factories where she worked and was offered to try herself as a model. This was the beginning of her journey to Hollywood. In 1946, she signed her first film contract with 20th Century Fox, and Norma Jean Mortensen became Marilyn Monroe, a woman who would become a legend. However, the path to glory was thorny. She had to fight for every role, for every chance to prove herself. But Marilyn didn't give up. She believed in herself and her dream. Early in her career, Marilyn faced many difficulties. Hollywood in those years was a cruel and ruthless world, especially for a young girl who did not yet have significant experience and connections. She was perceived as a beautiful but little-known actress who could only be suitable for minor roles. Despite this, she did not lose hope. Marilyn worked with incredible dedication. She starred in episodic roles, appeared on magazine covers, and studied with the best acting teachers. Neither ridicule nor unkind critics stopped her. She knew that her journey was just beginning. In 1950, Marilyn received her first prominent role in the film The Asphalt Jungle, where her performance was noted by critics. But her real breakthrough came in 1953, when she starred in the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. This film made her a star of the first magnitude. Her image, her smile, her charm, all this captivated millions of viewers around the world. But even before world fame came to Marilyn, she found her small corner in the Sherman Oaks area where she could finally feel at home. This house was not a luxurious mansion overlooking the ocean, which many of her colleagues could boast of. It was a simple ranch-style home, but it became an important retreat for her. Built in 1944, this house personified everything that Marilyn lacked in her life: stability, comfort, peace. Here she could hide from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood and just be Norma Jean, a girl with big dreams. The house was surrounded by greenery and fruit trees, creating an atmosphere of privacy and tranquility. In this house, Marilyn could relax, rest, and think about the future. This period was important for her as it preceded her big break. Here, away from cameras and fans, she found strength and confidence to continue her fight for her place in the sun. It was in this house that she began to realize that her life was beginning to change, that the fame she dreamed of was just around the corner. The Sherman Oaks house became a symbol of hope for Marilyn. Although it was not luxurious, it was where she felt at home. In this house, perhaps, for the first time she felt truly happy. The exterior of Marilyn Monroe's home resembles a traditional Mexican ranch. The home is designed in the Spanish colonial revival style, which is typical of Southern California architecture. The house is located on a quiet street, surrounded by greenery, which gives it a special charm and atmosphere of privacy. The facade of the house is decorated with white plaster, which gives the building a calm and clean appearance. The roof is covered with red tiles, which is typical of the Spanish style. The windows have wooden frames. Some of them are decorated with wrought iron bars, which adds charm and an old-fashioned flavor. Windows are usually small, but their location allows for maximum use of natural light, creating a warm and cozy atmosphere inside. The main entrance to the house is located under a small arch, also covered with tiles. The door is made of dark wood and decorated with metal elements, which emphasizes the rustic style of the house. The front door leads to a small courtyard, which is surrounded by high walls, creating a feeling of privacy and security. There is a small garden in front of the house, which was Marilyn's favorite place to relax. She took care of it, planted flowers and plants, trying to create a cozy corner of nature. The garden is decorated with flowering bushes, green trees and hedges, which create pleasant shade and make this place especially attractive on sunny days. There is also a small fountain in the garden which adds to the tranquility and relaxing atmosphere. The backyard, which opens onto a deck, also has a rustic feel. Here Marilyn could spend time outdoors, enjoying peace and solitude. The terrace is decorated with ceramic tiles typical of Mexican style and furnished with simple but comfortable furniture. Along the terrace there are shrubs and flowers that Marilyn loved and carefully looked after. In the evening hours, here you could see her reading books or simply enjoying the view of the garden. Inside, Marilyn Monroe's home is a cozy and warm space that reflects her personal taste and desire to create a place where she could feel safe and secure. The interior of the house is made in light colors, which creates an atmosphere of comfort and simplicity. The living room of the house is the heart of the space where Marilyn spent a lot of time. The room is spacious, with high wooden beams on the ceiling, which emphasize its traditional character. The floors are made of wood covered with hand-woven rugs, giving the room a warm and homey feel. In the center of the living room there are soft sofas and armchairs, upholstered in light fabrics, with plenty of pillows. These pieces of furniture are located around a large stone fireplace, which was a symbol of homeliness and warmth for Marilyn. The fireplace is decorated in Spanish style with ceramic tiles and wrought iron elements. On the walls of the living room hung paintings that reflected Marilyn's personal preferences. These included both classical works of art and more contemporary works that she collected throughout her life. She also placed photographs of her family and friends in this room, creating a cozy and warm atmosphere. The kitchen in Marilyn's home was not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. It is designed in a traditional rustic style with elements of Spanish and Mexican architecture. The kitchen floors are ceramic tiles with traditional patterns. The kitchen cabinets are made of dark wood and decorated with wrought iron handles, which gives the interior a vintage look. In the center of the kitchen there is a large wooden table, which also served as a dining area. Here Marilyn often received her friends and prepared simple but tasty dishes. The kitchen was equipped with modern appliances for the time, but retained its traditional charm. The dining room adjacent to the kitchen is also designed in a rustic style. There is a large wooden table with carved chairs around which Marilyn's guests often gathered. Lamps with wrought iron elements and candles created soft, warm lighting, adding a romantic atmosphere. Marilyn's bedroom was her personal sanctuary, a place where she could retreat and relax. The room was decorated in light, pastel colors, which created a calm and peaceful atmosphere. The large bed with a carved headboard was decorated with many pillows and soft linens. The bed occupied a central place in the room and symbolized coziness and comfort. The bedroom also contained a large mirror with a carved frame, which was an important decorative element. This piece not only served a functional purpose, but also added extra charm and sophistication to the room. In the corner of the room there was a small table on which Marilyn kept her personal belongings, books, and photographs. The bathroom of the house was made in the same style as the rest of the rooms. Elements of Spanish and Mexican decor were also used here. The bathroom was fitted with ceramic tiles that combined light and bright colors to create a fun and cheerful atmosphere. In the center of the bathroom was a large cast iron clawfoot bathtub that Marilyn loved. The sink was built into a wooden cabinet with wrought iron elements, and the mirror above it was decorated with tiles with traditional patterns. The bathroom also had a large window that let in natural light and made it feel spacious and fresh. The house also had a small library, which served as a place for solitude and reflection. In this room, Marilyn kept her books, which she treasured very much. The library was decorated in soothing colors, with wooden shelves filled with books. There was a comfortable chair where Marilyn could read or just spend time in silence. Although Marilyn Monroe later lived in more luxurious homes, the house at Sherman Oaks always remained special to her. It symbolized the beginning of a new chapter in her life, a chapter where she became an actress, where her dreams began to come true. This house became a kind of talisman for her, a reminder of the time when she was still Norma Jean, dreaming of fame. After her career took off, Marilyn left this house, moving to more prestigious areas of Los Angeles. But the memories of her time at Sherman Oaks remain with her forever. Here she first felt the taste of success. For the first time, she realized that her dreams could come true. For Marilyn, this house was not just a place to live, but a symbol of her aspirations and hopes. It represented what she was able to achieve and reminded her of the hardships she had to go through to achieve her dreams. Despite its historical and cultural significance, Marilyn Monroe's home in Sherman Oaks has not escaped the fate of many other buildings with a rich history. In 2018, decades after Marilyn left this world, the house was demolished. The new owner decided that a more modern and expensive mansion could be built on this site. This act caused a wave of indignation among Marilyn fans and those who value the cultural heritage of Hollywood. The demolition of this house became a symbol of the oblivion that sometimes befalls historically important places in favor of modernity and commercial interests. When bulldozers destroyed the walls of this house, not only bricks and wood disappeared, part of the history disappeared. The house, which became a symbol of hope for Marilyn Monroe and the beginning of her path to fame, was wiped off the face of the earth. The memories of the girl who once lived here and dreamed of the future have disappeared. A piece of cultural heritage that could have told future generations about the life of one of the greatest actresses of all time has disappeared. The demolition of Marilyn Monroe's Sherman Oaks home raises important questions about how we relate to our history and cultural heritage. In pursuit of new projects and modern solutions, we sometimes forget that the past is not just a set of events and dates. The past is people, their lives, their dreams and hopes. And if we don't respect that past, we risk losing touch with those who came before us. This house was not just a place where the young actress lived. He was part of her life, part of her story. And although Marilyn is no longer with us, her memory lives in the hearts of millions of people around the world. Demolition of a house is not just the destruction of a building, it is the destruction of the memory that this building held. Maybe someday we will learn to cherish our history, to preserve places associated with important events and personalities, even if they do not seem significant to us at first glance. After all, every such place is part of our common history, part of our culture. Marilyn Monroe was and remains a symbol of Hollywood, a symbol of beauty, success and tragedy. Her life was full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows, and the house in Sherman Oaks was an important part of that life, part of her path to fame. Today, this house no longer exists, but the memory of it, like Marilyn herself, will remain with us forever. We may not be able to regain what was lost, but we can remember, respect and appreciate what was. After all, History is not only events, but also people, their lives and what they left behind. Preserving our history and respecting our cultural heritage is not just a tribute to the past. It is our duty to future generations so that they can know, remember and appreciate what came before them. And maybe the next time we see an old house associated with a great person or important event, we will think that preserving it may be more important than creating something new. Write in the comments. In the meantime, we'll say goodbye. See you later.